Hey guys, we're going to talk about line plots today. So this is something we've covered a little bit before, but I want to dedicate a specific video to it and then give you some work in Google Classroom using Google Slides that goes along with this. So just get some specific practice on this skill. I think of all the things that we've done in terms of data collection and graphing, this is probably the one that you're least familiar with in terms of having background knowledge. So it definitely deserves a little bit more attention so that we make sure everybody's feeling pretty comfortable with it. So let's bring up a whiteboard here and get started. I am going to try to keep this one short again. Again, we've done it before, so it's not something that I have to like introduce the whole concept to you, but let's start with a line plot here. So it's just a line. It doesn't have a line going up and down, vertically on this side. And then I'm gonna say that what we're doing here is flower height in inches. That's the subject. That's what we're studying or looking at. And this is going to be number of inches down here. And let's see, we're going to say, something that hasn't grown, 0. Things can grow to the ½ inch too, right? So ½ inch, 1 inch. We can combine this with the measurement work that we did yesterday. 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, and we'll say 3 1/2 is like the tall. I guess we can squeeze in a 4 over here. 4 inches would be the tallest. So this is where we're going to plot our things later, and each x is going to equal 1 flower in this case. And usually you'll have some sort of table that will go along with this. So like, well, not necessarily. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But say you went out and measured, 10 flowers. Okay. And your 10 flowers came in like this. This is a chart or a table of your flowers. So flower number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Don't mind the sloppiness here. I'm doing the best I can with this writing tool. As you guys know, my handwriting's not the best and my drawing's not the best even in the classroom, but it's even more difficult on this drawing tablet. And so this is the flower number, and this is the height. That was really messy, but you get the point. And so we're going to say that this one was 1/2, and this is in inches. We're going to say this is 2 1/2, 3, 1 1/2. I'm just making these up. Pretend like we measured them, like we went outside in the garden and measured them. If we were at school, we actually could have done something like that, gone and found something to measure. 4, 4, 1 didn't grow. 2 1/2, 2, and 4. Okay. So then we take the information here on our table, and we say, oh, I can make a line plot with this. So when you do that, you're not saying like 1 1/2 flowers are a certain inch. What you're saying is a certain number of flowers are 1 1/2 inch. So I'm going to start with my top one and say flower number 1 is 1/2 inch. So I put an X there to show that one flower at least is, I checked it off, is ½ inch tall. Then I go to my second one. Number 2 is 2 1/2 inches. So I say that one flower so far is 2 1/2 inches. I say so far because I'm going to add to that later. Number 3 is 3 inches. So I go over here and say one flower is 3 inches. Number 4 is 1 1/2. So I say one flower is 1 1/2. Numbers 5 and 6 are both 4 inches. So I can put 2 there. So this shows that 2 flowers are 4 inches tall. Number 7 didn't grow, so it's 0. Number 8 is 2 1/2. So we add one more on top of that because now we have 2 flowers that are 2 1/2 inches tall. Number 9 is 2 inches tall. And number 10 is also 4 inches tall. So now that I've created this, I can go and I can say, I can answer questions like, you could ask me how many flowers in your garden were 2.5 inches tall. And I could quickly look and say 2. If I looked over here, if I only had this, if I only had this set of data on this chart over here, I would have to be like 1, 2. All right, there are 2, which I can find. I can go through there and find, and it's not too hard when there's only 10 things, but imagine there are 50, it would take me a lot longer. Whereas if I have this line plot over here, I can really quickly identify these things, like how many flowers are 4 inches tall? There are 3 of them, because I can just look and see really quickly. It makes it super convenient for you to organize data in this way. And you can answer all kinds of questions. You could say, how many flowers are less than 2 inches? So that means anything that's less than 2 inches, anything that's on this side of 2 inches. So 1, 2, 3. 3 are less than 2 inches, right? We can do all kinds of stuff like that. Let's do one more example, and then I will send you off to do work independently. We're going to clear this. We're going to try one other one. Try it with like a bigger data set. Okay. So this time we're going to say, let's say shoe size in, I don't know, 2nd grade. Okay. And you would have shoe size. And just to keep it simple, I'm not actually going to make this like super realistic, but say we had, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, and we'll say they go up to 5.5. Right? So those would be my range of sizes, the possible sizes that I could have. And what I'm measuring here, this is super important, is frequency. It's not like a preference. It's not, if I put an X here, it's not saying that like, ooh, someone's favorite size is 3, which is what you usually see with something like a bar graph. It's not like that. It's literally how many times that happened. So how many kids had 3? That doesn't mean their favorite size is 3. That's kind of silly. What it means is if an X is there, that means it happened once. So each X equals 1 person. And I'm not going to do the chart. I could do the chart over here. It would just take a really long time. Say I measured, I don't know, 50 kids, right? I could go like 1. All right, I'm going to stop at 35 because it's probably getting a little boring to watch me just sit there and draw X's. Now, again, I could have a chart over here that had, 1 to 35, and then it had all the sizes down here, right? I could have a chart that looks like that. And I could go through, and if, so Parker asked me, how many kids are on your chart that have size 4.5 shoe? I could go through line by line and be like, that's 1, 2, 3. I could go like that. It's much easier though if I look at a line plot like this and I say 4.5 Parker. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. 7 kids have 4.5. I can look and see it. The visual representation is very easy to tell that there are 4.5 times someone measured. 7 times somebody measured 4.5 inches. Again, I could answer questions like how many people had less than 3.5. So I would look at all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 kids had less than 3.5. So you can, with these, really quickly identify how often something happens and you can use that information in word problems really easily because it's just a really quick picture, and it um, saves you time and energy, and reduces the chance of you making mistakes of having to go through a chart or a table and figure those sort of things out. So this can be a really helpful tool when you're talking about how frequently something happens or how often something happens. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them.